Star Trek is a reoccurring topic in the hit sitcom Frasier, but what is the show's reason for having so many references and plot points based around the classic sci-fi franchise? The connection is undeniable, between sharing studios, the creation of a Trekkie character, and notable guest stars on Frasier from Star Trek. However, there are a few behind-the-scenes explanations as to why Star Trek became so deeply rooted in Frasier, the show spin-off of Cheers. In 1987, Star Trek: The Generation Season 1 premiered nearly 2 decades following the cancellation of Star Trek, the original series. TNG lasted for 7 seasons until 1993 when Frasier aired. Frasier was released the same year its sister show Cheers ended, the sitcom where Kelsey Grammer first appears as Dr. Frasier Crane. As Frasier's popularity soared, Star Trek began filming sequel movies for TNG, starting with Star Trek: Generations. Several regulars from Cheers and Frasier make cameos in Star Trek, including Grammer, who guest stars on an episode of TNG. Not only does Star Trek pop up regularly in Cheers spin-off, but Frasier hosts a reoccurring character whose identity is based on that of a hyper-dedicated Star Trek fan. Noel Shempsky, a man who works at KACL with Frasier Crane, is the main source of Frasier's prolific Star Trek humor. There are other Star Trek Easter eggs in Frasier aside from Noel, however, which makes the connection between both properties stand out. Quite a few actors from Star Trek: The Generation appear on the popular sitcom for at least an episode. Patrick Stewart, who plays Captain Picard, and Brent Spiner, who plays Data, feature in the final 2 seasons of Frasier. There is one major reason why there are so many Star Trek references and Easter eggs in Frasier, and that can be traced back to their mutual production companies, as both were filmed in adjacent Paramount studios. Cheers, Frasier, and Star Trek were filmed in neighboring studios. Cheers and Frasier's filming schedules often overlapped with Star Trek's, whether it be for Star Trek: The Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, or TNG's sequel films. Being owned by Paramount resulted in these shows and movies occasionally being filmed on the same studio lot, which is partly why Star Trek is a recurring topic in Frasier. Filming in neighboring studios would make it easy for the respective casts to interact with each other. Regarding actors like Bebe Neuwirth, who are self-proclaimed Star Trek fans, the show's cameos may have been inspired by timely friendships between stars and crew members. The circumstantial connection between Frasier and Star Trek became so strong that it led to the release of a crossover comedy sketch between the casts of Star Trek, Voyager and Frasier in the 1996 movie Star Trek: 30 Year and Beyond. While entirely different genres, Frasier and Star Trek are complementary due to the passion each show has for the other. It is likely the reason Star Trek became a running theme in Frasier is because of behind-the-scenes conviviality between the casts, so Paramount Studios can be accredited to that. With there being so much Star Trek in Frasier, it is unsurprising that so many stars from Frasier also make appearances in Star Trek.